불멸의 전사 2.
What's up? We're back here at the Pro League 2016. I'm Tasteless, joined with Wolf. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing really good, buddy, here at the Pro League. It's time for another day of matches. It's Tuesday, and we're starting things off with Samsung here. They are 1-2, but still have a neutral indicator. They're going to be up against the MVP Chicken Maru team. Both teams on 1-2. A win here, very important.
Yeah, a lot of pressure on these guys. Again, I've been out of the loop here for Starcraft for about 3 weeks. I was out of town. So good to be back here with you, Wolf.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you back here, man.
I'm glad that we're still going strong with the beards. Nobody's chickened out and shaved it off just yet.
That's right, and you know, it just isn't Pro League without you here, Tasteless.
Oh, you say all the right things, Wolf.
There was a void in my heart, you know, while you were gone. I missed you every day.
It was the legacy of the void in your heart, man.
That's right.
We've been having some great games the past few months here in Legacy, and I think today is going to be no exception to that. As we've gotten the meta more developed, you know, the bones are there. Now we're going to see where the game goes from here.
Solar with a crazy new hairstyle, by the way.
I actually did not. I actually got caught off guard when he came on camera there. I didn't recognize him at first.
Yeah, it took me a little while too, and it seems like everyone is changing their hair this week in Pro League, as well as a little bit last week. So we've got new styles all around. Hero had this crazy hairstyle yesterday. But yeah, I guess it's spring. I got a haircut myself a few days ago, so I guess everyone's just kind of getting ready for the hot weather because it's getting pretty hot here in Seoul right now.
Yeah, but don't worry, guys. That's not going to stop us from staying inside and playing computer games. But yeah, I mean, the weather has actually gotten very nice here in Seoul. And for those of you guys at home, maybe you've never been to Korea, I'd say overall Seoul weather can be pretty brutal most of the time.
Yeah, it's either really hot, humid, and you're going to be sweaty all the time, or you're going to be so cold that you wish you didn't want to go outside. Like in the spring, when it's not too hot yet, and also like in the fall, those are the best times. But in summer and in winter, you might have a bad time.
I have this theory. I don't know if I've said this on air ever, but that it's places with not great climates that tend to make the best gamers.
Yeah, I think
Korea, Sweden, various parts of it's like if there's less outdoor stuff, then people got to gravitate towards something else. And that's especially with a city the size of Seoul and internet is good. It's no surprise that we have so many good players.
Oh, no doubt. It's a small area as well, easy to travel, good infrastructure. Now, I want to talk about Jin Air for just a second. They beat SKT yesterday, and I've been saying it, and you know, I've been kind of praising the Jin Air team. I've been on the Jin Air hype plane, if you will, for several weeks. And I think they're actually the best team in Pro League right now, and they beat SKT. They've kind of proven it. They have an undefeated record with +11. That's insane. We haven't had that in a while.
Beating SKT is no small feat. If you manage to take out SKT, I guess that's how you decide if you're the best team or not, because they basically don't lose. So very nice to see that things are getting mixed up a little bit here.
I mean, if you look at the top two teams here as well, with Jin Air and SKT T1, they each have 3 players in the top. Maru undefeated currently at 10-0, which is an incredible statistic. Here, looking at this match, this is a really close series between these two. This could go either way.
Look, I think this should be one of our closer matches we have down here. Yeah, it was a tough one when we were doing the predictions. A tough one for me to call. I was not participating in the predictions while we were gone because I was with my family, so I don't know if I'm like down to 10% now, if they counted that as a loss, or how this works.
We basically just decided for you what we thought your predictions would be based on your previous stuff. So like you're actually pretty. You're in a pretty good spot. You're doing a little bit better than the last round.
When I went out of town, right before I went out of town, I was losing. I was like at the bottom, man.
You're up there now. All 3 of us were actually me, you, Brendan, and G are actually all 4 of us. We were like all tied at first place, like I think 2 weeks ago. So we're all doing better right now.
That's great. Okay. Well, these predictions today, these are going to be mine. So we'll see what actually happens here. Guys, it's so good to be down here. Again, it's going to be first to 3 wins, with each game being a best of 1.
Look at how handsome Daehyun looks in that T-shirt, man. That guy like is working out.
We need to get some of those cool T-shirts, man.
Yeah, I heard we're getting them next week, so I'm excited for that. Guys, if you come down here, it is free to enter. I know a lot of people text me about that all the time on Twitter. You don't have to pay anything. You don't have to show up super early. You can get a seat here pretty easily. We also have a new popcorn and soda bar.
Oh, that's right.
Like orange juice and things of that nature. So you can come down here, get a soda, get some popcorn, and enjoy the games.
And of course, the Nexon Arena, which is the arena that we're in right now here for Pro League, It's in a fantastic location. It's right in downtown in Gangnam. You go out, there's tons of great restaurants, coffee shops, bars, clubs, places to shop. So get down here. It's totally worth it. I would say location-wise, this is the best esports venue probably in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much to do right outside here. Whether you want to go clubbing, you want to go drinking, you want to go shopping, you want to just get good food.
I like all those things.
Yeah.
So you can come out, you can do you can go out and do a little bit of shopping, then come down here and then go out and have a great night. So there's no reason to not come down here. And again, entry is free. And if you guys watch religiously, you probably wonder, why are they always repeating that? And that's because every day we all get tweets asking how much it costs. There's no tickets. You just show up.
Yep.
First, you want a good seat, come early.
And if you want directions to the studio, just Google it. Because if you asked me for it, if I was going to respond to you, that's what I'd do.
I can't.
I don't have that in my head memorized.
Well, I also don't know if it's 140 characters that can describe how to get here, but it's all Googleable. So definitely come down here. Whether you live in Seoul or you're just visiting for a little bit, it's definitely something worth seeing.
Absolutely. So, just keep all that in mind. Spread the word about that because, we do get those tweets all the time. But, we do love to have you down here.
It's become a running joke at this point in time because we mentioned it for so long, and I think I've literally never done a broadcast without mentioning it, but it's still, people still ask. Anyways, this is going into our first match, Journey against GuMiho. This was a tough one, Wolf.
It really is. Journey has shown some awesome TBT, especially in the early parts of Legacy of the Void. Not so much in Pro League, but in other tournaments, as well as a lot of online tournaments. He was playing in like Lima League. And he's been a great Terran for a while. He was actually a former SKT, basically B-teamer. He found a better place on Samsung like his teammate Bravo. GuMiho, though, is one of these players we've had since the beginning of time.
Old
in StarCraft
school. 2. You can't think of StarCraft 2 and not think of GuMiho. This guy's been around for so long. He's so solid. Somebody who really is a task-juggling master and oftentimes just outmaneuvers his opponent. And it's going to be fun to see kind of the old versus the new here.
I have to agree with you there. And we'll see if GuMiho can keep up with what he's been doing. He's played a lot more games in Pro League specifically. Now, taking a look at the vote here, it's a bit broken down. You and MondayCast are going for Journey.
All right. I thought it was a fair bet. We'll see what the results turn out to be here. Journey is a very good player, although very fresh. GuMiho definitely, having all that experience. That is sometimes half the battle, just being in the booth and having all these people watch you and executing what you did at home.
Absolutely. Well, guys, looks like we're going to jump into game number one. Journey versus GuMiho.
Journey. All right, introducing our players here in the upper right in the red. Journey. I didn't know until you guys saw it too. And in the bottom left in the blue, his opponent, GuMiho.
All right, starting things off with the TBT. One of the most fun matchups in Legacy of the Void because of the Tankovac makes it just so much more exciting.
Mid-danks. Okay, they are called mid-danks. Artosis fixed that a long time ago. No, but you're completely correct. It is a fantastic improvement to this matchup. It's kind of cool because TBT started out after mech became a thing, right? TBT started out as this like really tedious, controlling of the map and securing positions. And now here in Legacy, and I mean, like this would be like, I guess, the 5th iteration of StarCraft in of itself. So when StarCraft Brood War, then all the way through the expansions up to here where we are now. This has made this matchup really exciting because it's become hyper mobile and hyper aggressive.
Yeah, every single move that you make in the late game is going to be really important. But nothing has been taken away from the early game too. If you actually do a great opener, we've seen even Turax Reaper proxies end the game. We've seen Banshees do critical damage. So you still do have to be on your feet in the early game, but the mid game and the late game is much more quick paced than it was in the past, and it's still just as strategical. So I feel like the matchup just almost objectively is much better than before.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunities for some really exciting stuff to happen right away. going on to this game, Journey is going to be going for a very different build than GuMiho. Journey now making a command center here, going for a fast expand, whereas it looks so far like GuMiho is going to be teching up, possibly going into some kind of harass here. We're going to have to see. There's already one Reaper on the way.
He went gas first, and because he went gas first, Journey was able to even SCV scout this, so he knows exactly what he's up against, knows there's no CC, knows it's double gas, so we'll likely either get a fast Viking or Raven to make sure that he can defend against what's coming first, and we'll just be set up defensively as a result. And, you know, GuMiho, there's no secret about what he's done here. The Reaper even lurking around, harassing the SCV scout, actually going to clean up, and we'll probably be able to go and confirm that CC is being made very delayed. And there it is right there. That's SCV going to drop that CC. And yeah, it's just basically an eco build for Journey versus GuMiho's more aggressive opening.
Yeah, GuMiho's build, it can be a little bit more rounded, well-rounded, I should say. You know, you can do a little bit of harass, you can do a little bit of scouting, and you're going to get your base up, whereas Journey's is just purely focused on the economics here and getting a bigger lead later on.
2 Reapers out here for GuMiho, but even with both of them, the Watchtower doesn't quite spot the Reaper on the left side. It looks like he may have, actually, as he moves back. Nope, just being safe. But the Reaper on the left side will probably pop up, check and see the timing of that CC. Is also going to be able to see if GuMiho went Banshees or not, which he is, in fact, not, actually. He's just going for a more Hellion opening. And, gets in, even with the units in position.
Okay, I did not think he was going to manage to get up there. I mean, even the well-positioned Depot could spot that, but he does manage to come up. He's going to loop around here. And he'll just see, you know, what's being made so far in there. We have a Liberator being pumped out right now for Journey.
Yeah, it's interesting that GuMiho is not actually... Wow, look at this. He's going for a second factory. He's going for, looks like maybe even Blue Flame Hellions potentially here in Hellbats, because he's getting an Armory as well. This is a really interesting build from GuMiho. This is something that's a bit different. We haven't really seen anything quite like this yet in Legacy of the Void.
GuMiho, by the way, now moving out. He's headed northbound right now, and you got to be careful. I don't know if Journey actually has that much to help defend here. Here's the second Reaper. Obviously not to defend now. It's going to go ahead and try to scout, but there's really not much over here in Journey's base, and I'm kind of scratching my head as I see this.
Yeah.
Okay, here comes the rest of his army. I was wondering where those 2 Hellions actually went. I thought, are they on the map somewhere or something like that? Okay, so he's now managed to get the SCVs to move from the expansion, the top base expansion, I should say, this one up here. But in a little bit here, he will be able to push back down and then force this to relocate.
Now, the problem here, of course, for GuMiho's push to stay here is that the Cyclone is now out. GuMiho is researching armor first, is producing a Cyclone. Again, he does have the Armory, so, you know, not only can that give him, of course, the armor upgrade, but he can also make Hellbats with these Hellions.
That was a really good angle there. He did a great job keeping that Cyclone alive. Very important there. Cyclone is oftentimes like the... Oh, hold up. But anyway, Cyclone's there to actually, you know, make sure you can hold this stuff off. You always want to get one early on here, and we're seeing the exact same thing happen over here. Nicely done. Poorly placed Liberator. Journey in a little bit of trouble.
It looks like he just kind of decided to siege it up just to try to get some kills before it went down, but you're absolutely right. That Cyclone is so key at defending things like this. If GuMiho didn't make that Cyclone, if he was playing a little bit greedier, making more Hellions, then he might have, you know, lost the entire game over that because he didn't have any anti-air whatsoever otherwise.
You know, it's kind of funny, actually. I always thought that the Cyclones were going to be used in a different way. You know, I thought the Adept was going to be more like used the way the Cyclone was, right? Where the Adept, I was like, well, they'll probably just get one of them and use it in a certain way. No, they masked them up. And I thought, you know, before we had really gotten a meta set up here, before we were casting actual Legacy games, I thought it was going to be Cyclones were being made in large numbers. But it turns out like the total opposite, which is pretty funny.
Yeah, in the beta, people were massing the Cyclone, but now it's just been used as kind of a defensive unit. 8 Hellions here will easily push the Cyclone back, in fact, and because it is an armored unit, he can't kill it, but he doesn't see the double medevac. So we're going to have 8 Hellbats. Well, I don't know if he should have lifted them up. I was assuming he was going to put 4 and 4 and then make them Hellbats once he got into the main, but it looks like he's going to heal them up here first before he actually drops them, which does give a little bit more time. And you can just elevator 2 and 2 and then do 2 and 2 more and skip the transformation time.
Yeah, most of the tanks are actually over here defending the entrance, even walling off over there. And so it looks like GuMiho, this is what GuMiho does so well. He's very good at dropping and harassing, hitting multiple locations at once, but dropping a little bit too late there, and not a single SCV is killed off.
Yeah, really good reaction here by Journey. But he sends the SCVs back way too soon.
That's one way to just lose everything. Okay, well, you know, in a perfect game, that would never, ever happen. I got to say, I'm pretty disappointed to see that play there.
Yeah, that was definitely not the right thing.
That's totally inexcusable because all he had to do was keep the SCVs away. And, I mean, first of all, the medevacs are going to go down. The 4 Hellbats were isolated in the upper right, so huge misplay here by Journey. At the same time, though, Journey did interrupt the construction of the command center down there in the bottom center, the soon-to-be third base for GuMiho.
You know, he had so many Vikings there that basically, if he had just simply kept his SCVs away, it wouldn't have been a problem. Now, we're going to see these tanks easily push these Hellions away. One tank nearly goes down, but survives.
This is pretty big here from Journey. I mean, if Journey can actually get in here, he can punish that command center. Command center is still just on the low ground there at the third base, or he might even want to go for this expansion over here. It's going to be a call that obviously Journey's going to have to make, but I believe is not going to be enough here for GuMiho to hold this position.
There are
third base.
12 Hellions on the map. Of course, 6 of those are
he's going to go for the drop on
top. I think he actually can just hold this. There's so much AoE damage on top of these tanks. One of them was already basically dead, and this is going to be an easy hold for GuMiho.
Yeah,
that brings the Cyclone back.
That was shockingly easy. Well, he was sieging up. He put the tanks into siege mode as they dropped on him there. And
I think he didn't realize there were Hellbats in there. I think he was like, there must be medevacs coming over. The rest of the army's going to come soon.
You thought maybe he was like faking it or something like that? I don't know. I mean, if you've noticed, like, Journey's kind of had some misplays as far as control goes since the start of this game. I think that's what happened back there, but we'll have to see.
I mean, he has no upgrades for his units, right? Whereas GuMiho already has a +1 armor. He's actually getting now double upgrades. He's going to have +2 armor for these Hellbats very soon, which means they're a lot tankier versus these Marines.
Nice shot. Taking that out there. Journey doing a good job in that regard, but
he doesn't have enough units here, Tazeless, to hold this base.
This is kind of scary. He doesn't have all of his medevacs over here to pick up and drop on top of that, so the tanks in siege mode are going to be a little bit scarier.
I think he can actually just overwhelm this once he gets all his reinforcements together. He even has a group of units on the watchtower as well that he's not quite grouped up with this. I think if he has +2 armor and a +1 attacks above fish, I think you just overwhelm this.
I think especially with the upgrades there too, I think he can crush this. Let's see though. Remember, with the medevacs and the tanks, you can pick them up and keep microing them back, but he's going to scan. He's going to come in here now.
Yeah, look at this. There's just so much here, and he comes from 2 angles. There's nowhere for the bio to run, and yeah, you can pick up the tanks, so that means they're not firing. Even though they're perfectly split here, GuMiho just has so much on the ground.
Yeah, pretty scary stuff here. He does finally take out that last tank over there. Meanwhile, a lot of SCVs being burned down as Journey is pushed further and further back. 81 supply to 108. And I got to say, once again, Journey's control a little bit wonky here.
And this is this is kind of a new innovative style we're seeing from GuMiho. No one's playing like this right now. He's basically just going armored Hellbats in TVT to pressure a third base. He's made a new composition. He finally brings tanks in now that they're absolutely necessary. But before that, he was going pure Hellbat with like a Cyclone to support. This is really cool stuff that we're seeing here, Tazeless.
And a 4th base now being taken here by GuMiho, and I think we are nearing the end of this. You got to keep in mind, GuMiho has more supply, and he has a superior tank count.
And better upgrades.
And more bases. So that's basically all the ways you could be ahead, and he has that.
Yeah, I mean, Journey saved his third base. And GuMiho moved his CC from the main, so it's not like he has a 4th actual CC, so it's somewhat vulnerable if he loses that, but I can't imagine he will. Oh, this Woodamine's going to get a shot off on the medevac as well.
So he'll be able to take that out. That's one, just another thing going wrong right now for Journey. And there's just too much here, man. He has nowhere he can drop. You know, with the Hellbats out running around like this, I mean, or Hellions in this case, it's actually a pretty mobile army, so it's not that tough to defend. Since he's not relying on siege tanks in siege mode. Kind of another interesting thing to point out within this style of play. And I think we're just going to see him steamroll him now. There's so just way too much.
Notice he uses half of his Hellions in Hellbat mode, and those are the ones he drops. And the ones that he has in Hellion mode that are not like in Hellbat mode, I think I said this backwards. The ones he has in Hellbat mode, he drops on top. The Hellions are the ones he has to chase down, because otherwise, as you guys saw, the natural, like Marines can kite. They have more range than a Hellbat, so they can kite and split back. But when you have Hellions in Hellion mode, they're the ones that can actually chase. They're faster. They have longer range with their little, flames they stick out. He's 50 supply up now. I think he's going to swing the final hammer here that will end Journey in game number 1. He's got tanks to support this.
All right, he's coming up now. The Liberators are coming down here now. Important note, there are not any Vikings, really. Well, there's one Viking, but I mean, clearly not enough.
Yeah.
And that's going to allow Journey to stay in this game. This game would have ended, but when you see those 2 Vikings, obviously, this army on the ground right now from GuMiho, tanks, Hellions, Hellbats, that's so scary. However, they can't hit air. So he's going to bring these Liberators back over here. And I think this is going to actually keep Journey in the game a little bit longer. And this does kind of point out the fundamental weakness of this kind of playstyle coming from GuMiho. However, GuMiho has such an insurmountable lead. I don't know if it's going to matter. I don't know if he can come back anyways, but that's a good hold.
We even see an upgrade. I can't even remember the name of coming out here. Mag Field Accelerator, which is going to, of course, help the lock-on range of the Cyclones, an upgrade I've never seen in a pro match coming out. That's going to be GuMiho's answer with Viking production as well to deal with those Liberators. Already on the chase here on these Vikings. There's the lock-on from the Cyclones. And yeah, Journey has this nice force over here. He's actually going to snipe a base.
Yeah, he should be able to get the command center and all the SCVs down there as well. But if that's down there, I don't know if he's going to have enough up here to defend this attack.
So many Hellbats here, Taste. All morphing now. And a ton of Siege tanks in the back to help this out. Cyclones at the front, many of them taken out already, but he does get the last of the Liberators. So the Vikings, even though they're going to go down here, they don't have anything against them.
Yeah, too little, too late, I have to say here for Journey. As this base is once again going to be relocated, which means very soon Journey's going to have absolutely no more money. Meanwhile, this attack down here continues to go on. The splash damage there, doing a lot of damage to those Marines. It looks like just barely GuMiho is going to hold the rest of that off. But this is it. This is actually the game here, guys.
He is 1-1 Marines versus 3-2. 3-2 Hellbats. You can't fight that, you know? That's Blue Flame plus, Blue Flame gives the damage upgrades to the Marines there. Basically what we saw there was Hellbats being used like a bio drop, you know? Like, it's like instead of a 2 Marine drop, we got a 8 Hellbat drop in the main. So many SCVs killed, and you just made a Hellbat comp with armor upgrades.
I think it was a mistake for Journey to push out. And, for part of that game, I was a little bit in disbelief that GuMiho was still going with that unit comp. I thought it was going to be more of a phase. You know what I'm saying? That he would start out with this and then switch into something else, and apparently not. Apparently he's just going to go the whole way with that, which is really cool.
I think it's, in a sense, what people like to call a win-more composition, because once you're winning with it, you can keep using it and use it to great effect, because even though, as you pointed out, once he went to that attack, he had no way of dealing with the Liberators. He was so ahead at that point that he could make triple Vikings and double Cyclones to get Cyclone range. So
I do wonder, though, if he, the Cyclones that was also very cool. I wonder if Journey had played a better game and just gotten those Liberators out, if he could have done something else, because it seems like you could push them. If you had Liberators and they don't have that air, and if you were in the position of offense instead of defense trying to keep your expansion alive, that might be a way that you could actually take somebody out there. But I want to see that strategy a couple more times. It really makes me think.
Certainly, I have to agree. Journey didn't play a bad game. I think he was a bit blindsided as we were by the strategy from GuMiho there. Definitely a unique strat we haven't seen yet before. But Deer versus Seed, this is my match I'm looking forward to the most.
Yeah, I'm excited to see this. Deer is a fantastic PvP player. I know he didn't do that well against Zest guys, but he's still one of the very, very best, easily top 5 Protosses.
Yeah, Zest
I think it's going to be tough for Seed.
Zest is really good, but he prepared so much for that PvP matchup. Now he's playing another PvP, so PvP.
He's got to use that somewhere, right?
Exactly. So
we'll see what happens with that. Personally, I'm going with Deer here.
Oh yeah, same. I think most people will, if not everybody. Deer has just been more consistent. Seed is now basically the coach of MVPs. He's like Stork in that regard. And
he's like the big bro on the team.
Yeah, both these teams are playing against each other now, so it's funny. We got Stork, who's like the playing coach, who very rarely plays, except he was in Code S. And then you have Seed, who...
when he does play, he goes to Code S, Wolf.
Yeah. Seed, on the other hand, when he plays, sometimes he wins like 1 out of 4 games or so, but he has not been as consistent, whereas Deer is like the carry player right now for Samsung. Like, he's keeping their team together.
I'm wondering what Seed would have to do to win this. And, it is just 1 game, so he could in fact win this. I would be very surprised. I think everybody would be pretty surprised by that.